Welcome to Get Your Bell Rung Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, KG, and with me tonight, man, is a gentleman who has such an inspirational story. And I'm so excited to have him. He is the Polish Power, Mario Pardua. I'm not even trying to roll my R's like you do. For the fans, please say your name.
So the full name is Mario Pardua, but of course we live in America, so it's going to be way easier to just say Mario Pardua. There you go. Thank you for having me, KJ.
Yep. Thank you for joining, man. I've read your story, and what an incredible story that you have. I love the fact that you're carrying on the moniker Polish Power because I grew up watching Ivan Pustki, Polar Power guy, Polish Power, and I was a huge fan of his as a kid. So it's great to see someone carrying that name on in this new generation of professional wrestlers. But let's start way in the beginning. Where are you from?
Well, originally I'm from Rung, Poland, up north of the Poland, literally in front of the Baltic Sea. Also, let's say I can say that I grew up, I was born and raised like in front of the Baltic Sea by the sea. So I always had water, near me, which was really pretty cool to growing up with some kind of sea like that.
Yeah, and so you grew up there. When did you start watching professional wrestling?
Well, the long story short is basically like most of the guys. I mean, in 2003, my parents were building the house, and at the time we used to live with my grandma. So at the time, I remember just clicking the TV. I remember we had back then like 7 or 8 channels, and one of them was Extreme Sport channel, and they were showing the wrestling. And I remember just clicking and switching the channels, and the second I saw it, I if I'm not mistaken, it was one of the wrestlers' entrance. And I remember I saw the entrance, the guy walking down that aisle. I saw the music. I saw people chanting his name. I saw the huge body oiled up, full of muscles. And I was probably 10 or 11. The second I saw it, I got hooked. I got hooked up. And basically that's it. And I knew wrestling existed by the time, but I never thought I'm going to be able to even start, or pursue my pro wrestling career. And I think I just gave up on that for like a good couple of years, and then I went back to wrestling because we had a kind of actually cable TV, and I was hooked back again. But I'm honestly, I will never thought I'm going to be able to even start wrestling, because you have to remember back in the day, even to this day in Poland, there's only one pro wrestling school for the whole country. So you can imagine how difficult it was back in the day when there were no wrestling school. Nobody even talks about wrestling. So me kind of, growing up, Polish guy, hey, I'm going to be a professional wrestler one day. I always had that thought on the back of my head, but I never thought it's going to be possible.
Yeah, so who's your favorite wrestler at 10, 11 years old? Who's the guy that you looked up to, the professional wrestler that no matter what you were doing, if you heard anything about him, you ran to get something to read, or you stopped what you're doing to watch? Who's your guy?
That would have to be John Cena, because when I started watching wrestling back again, it was 2007-ish, I guess, 8. So of course John Cena was on the top, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, all these guys. The second I saw John Cena in the TV, it was just it was just only me and John on the same waves. I remember my parents used to call me, "Hey, John Cena is in the TV." I was just boom. I was right there. So he was kind of the first guy that I look up to, and I always wanted to kind of be like him, meet him. Again, I was so interested about it, but the thing is, the only thing I didn't have an internet at the time even, so it was only TV. So I was just, my hands were tied because there's no internet, only me watching TV once a month. It was WWE once a month, like they were showing up on that channel. So I was struggling, brother. I was struggling to get a hook for some good wrestling.
How old? So you discovered professional wrestling, 10, 11,
Yeah.
John Cena guy. No internet. So basically, it's whenever you can watch it,
I'm stuck
right?
at
When
this
did
point.
when did you decide that I want to do this? This is what I want to do.
Well, 2011, 2012 actually, WWE went to Poland for the first time, and that was a WrestleMania Revenge tour, I remember. So I took my brother, my little brother, and I got the tickets, and we went to the show. And dude, what a experience! Wow, it just blew my mind. So I think from there, I thought I'm gonna be able to do it to do this one day, but I never talked to anyone about it. I barely talked to my parents. Hey, I'm going to be a wrestler one day, and my mom and I'm going to go to America to do this. And of course, my parents were, why don't you, just go to school, do your homework, stuff like that. Talking about those crazy kind of ideas and dreams. But if I was getting older, and I was actually started talking to my friends and everybody, I knew that one day I'm gonna go to America and I'm gonna become a professional wrestler. And it started like happening on a regular basis. Everywhere I worked, people knew, hey, this is a wrestler, future wrestler. I'm gonna go to America. I'm gonna be a professional wrestler one day. Everywhere in the neighborhood knew. So at the time, I was like 22, 24. I just felt obligated to do this eventually. But the thing is, I couldn't figure out the way. How can I get to America, right? Because for the
Right.
Eu- from the Europe to get to America, it's not that easy to just stay here and do whatever you want. And I finally figured out the way. I came to United States 2018, and I used to work at summer camp with the kids, which has changed my life. The 4 months changed my life completely. And then I went back home, and I already decided that year from now I'm gonna move to Chicago on my own, and I'm gonna start my pro wrestling career.
Did you guys have professional wrestling? Did you in Poland? I mean, was there a promotion or anything like that in Poland that you were able to follow?
Uh, It was kind of low key. They were just getting started, but it was I remember I went to the practice once. I was probably 20 or 19 years old, and I traveled through the whole country to get it for one practice. It was so expensive. It was, hard to get because it was on another side of the country. And it wasn't anything that I was expecting to be, and I quit after one practice. I don't know why. I just felt like, well, this is like, is that what it is? Like, no, it has to be different. Like here in America, it has to look different. And basically, I was wrong because as soon as I moved here, I went to practice to Chicago style wrestling with Steve Boz. It was even worse. I mean, the low ceiling, the ring, 100 years old. The second you took a bump, you could even. It was just horrible. But that's what it was, and I'm like, okay. So that's what it is. Let's just get to work. And yeah.
So, were you athletic at all when you were going to high school? Did you play sports?
I played a little bit soccer back in the day, before high school days, but honestly, no. Actually, funny thing, I always struggled to get to the any kind of, whether it was soccer what's the term? Whether it was a soccer exhibition or any kind of contest or running or jumping or whatever it is, I always struggled to get on because I was this much kind of there was always someone who was a little bit better than I was, and I was always mad. I was always pissed. I'm like, damn, I'm kind of athletic, but I guess I'm not. What do I'm doing? It was just, I was just miserable, but I knew I got something to offer in pro wrestling. I just always knew it, but it was just, it was almost impossible to start
Yeah.
it.
How did your family take it when you said, "I am moving to America because I want to pursue this dream of being a professional wrestler"?
uh Pretty well, I would say. I remember my mom when she dropped me off when I took a train to get to the airport. She just started crying, brother, because she thought I will never come back because it's gonna be, one of these things where I'm gonna go, I will never come back. If I'm gonna be back, it's gonna be 20 years from now, and she will never see me again. One of these like, real mom. She was just she loved me so much. That's why she reacted like that. But No, we've been in America since 2019, and it's 2026. I never been back again yet, but I think with all the things that are going on with and with my visa status, I'm going to be able to go next year after 7 years for the first time,
Right.
which is
Wow.
pretty interesting.
Yeah. When you first got to America, what was your thought? I mean, it had to be a culture shock to you.
It was. I'm not gonna lie, it was because at first you have to understand. I thought I knew how to speak English, but I couldn't. I maybe understood mostly everything, but in practice I was just horrible. But as soon as I started practicing wrestling, that's what actually when I learned the most, like speaking English, because that helped me a lot, and just be around Americans and just being in that environment. But like you said, the cultural shock was just boom, totally different environment, people, the way of people are thinking, the way people are to each other. Everybody's so nice. Everybody's, complimenting people on a regular basis, even though when you go to the store, people just say, hey, you look sexy, you look this, hey, nice shirt, blah, blah, this, and that, small talk before you even starting the conversation. Like people just so easy to work with. I mean,
Right.
totally different. Nothing that I got something against Poland and Europe. It's just this different world, different.
Right. Right. So you went to is Chicago where you ended up going to?
Yeah, Chicago is my home now.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Tom Prichard, he was your wrestling coach, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was my wrestling coach when I went down with my friend Josh down
Okay.
to Knoxville to train with Dr. Tom. He was very helpful, very helpful.
Now, when you first went to wrestling school, was it anything like what you imagined it was going to be?
Honestly, no, because like in my mind, I thought it's gonna be like way more professional, if I can say. It's gonna be more kind of everybody's gonna be so athletic, in shape. It's gonna be ring like in a huge warehouse with high ceiling with the AC on and everything, but it was just totally opposite, Nobody is in shape. Everybody is kind of trying to get to know wrestling and stuff. But this was the best memories I ever had with the guys that I was coming up with. Everybody went their own way, and I was very fortunate to actually start with that environment, with that stiff ass ring, because that what gave me that extra kind of push and like start with wrestling. I was very fortunate actually.
Now, was there ever a point during wrestling school that you're like, man, this is much tougher than I thought it was going to be? I mean, taking bumps, it hurts at first, right? Until your body gets calloused. Um, was there any point that you thought, man, I don't know if I want to continue doing this or not?
Not really, I must say, because the only time I was miserable, it was just because people were laughing at me because I didn't speak English. I could. We've been calling the shots or calling the spots in the ring. I didn't know what to do because I didn't understand. They were just laughing at me, and I was just felt so embarrassed because I'm like, dude, if I could speak, better, I would should just show you guys how to, like shut up or whatever. But I just couldn't. I just felt like, I was probably always the biggest guy in a locker room at practice. But I couldn't do anything. I couldn't, talk back or whatever because there were laughs and they were making jokes off of me, whatever. But but it was fun time. Now I look at it, it was really cool times, actually.
So you started wrestling school in Chicago. When did you
Yeah.
go to Tennessee?
After I think I was 2.5 years in, like on the regular doing the shows and stuff. So I was still a rookie. I was still green as grass. And my buddy actually he offered me to go down to Knoxville to train with Tom. And I said, well, just for a week. And I was booked in Nashville at the end of the week, so we just decided to go. And it was only for a week, but again, that week with Dr. Tom just gave me so much more than many of any others, practice or trainings. Because this is Dr. Tom. He knows what he's
Right.
doing, he knows what he's saying, and it helped me a lot. Helped me a lot.
Yeah. So how long were you in wrestling school for before you had your first match?
I think I was practicing, to be honest, like 8 months, 7 months, which was kind of pretty long time, to be honest, because I remember guys were coming in for like, I don't know, second month, third month, and they were already at the show. And I know I'm good, but I was waiting for my coach to give me the green light, hey, I think you're ready, you can go now. But it was just the way it was. I mean, I could have been maybe good after 3 months, whatever. But it was. I'm not, cranky about it.
Right,
In my
right.
case, was 8 months.
8 months. What were you doing for a living to survive while you were going to wrestling school? Because you came here with only $900 in your pocket, from what I remember reading about you.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So how are you surviving?
Well, a second I got to Chicago, I remember it was Saturday. Monday I went to work, and I'm probably working 2 to 3 jobs for the past six years. So
Wow.
I wasn't never complaining about, kind of struggling to get, money for anything, but it was just, that's my just work ethic, like every other Polac's ethic.
Right.
People are hungry, coming to America to, making their dreams come true, and you just hustle everywhere you can, and you just go, 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 go.
Yeah.
That was just at least in my case.
So tell me about your name, the Polish Power. Why did you choose that? Did you choose that name, or did another wrestler, give you that name?
No, I don't want to say it was actually by accident, but like you said at the beginning, it was mostly because the Ivan Pustki, the Polish Power, the real Polish Power, Ivan Pustki. And the second I figured Ivan Pustki, the character, existed in wrestling, especially, back in the WWF days, I'm like, I have to just go with it, because I was born and raised in Poland, like Ivan Pustki. I moved to America to change my life and just follow my dreams like he did. And what a great opportunity to just go with it. Polish Power. I mean, it doesn't get any better than
Right.
that.
Now, did you watch any of his matches? Did you study any of his matches?
I did a little bit. Yeah, the Polish Power, this unbelievable singing that he was doing. The Moja droga, ja cię kocham, my dear, I love you so. Yeah, I know that song very well.
No.
I was actually trying to come up with the song at one of the shows, but I was just like, I think it's too old for this generation. Maybe it might be weird, because it was 30 years ago, if not 40 years ago. But you never know. I might sing a little song one day on one of the bigger shows.
So when you go through training for 8 months, where was your first match at, and who was it against?
My very first match I remember it was for the Lucha promotion at Berwyn Eagles Club, the legendary venue at Berwyn in Chicago, and it was a Lucha Libre Total promotion that I hooked up on because of my coach, because they were sending the guys who can work to, just get some work in and get some practice at the shows in front of the Mexican people. And it was tag match, and it was me and I remember there was four guys. It was me, it was Mateo, Asian Sensation, it was Cody, and I don't remember the fourth guy name, but it was a tag team match, and I think they have me winning with my finishing move, which my finishing move at the time and still is rock bottom, just different variation of rock bottom. But it was just crazy. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just so nervous. But the second I went out, I was just everything just disappeared. But during the match, it was just 6 or 7 minute match, I remember. But it was great. I remember after I went to the back, I'm like, man, I finally did it after all those years, and moving to America, the little match, 6 minutes, I finally did it. It was just unbelievable. I will never forget it.
Now, you said a different version of the rock bottom is your finisher. How's it
Yeah.
different?
Well, there's two types of kind of rock bottom. The rock bottom, one of my finishing moves, it's just rock bottom or just Mario bottom or Polish bottom, which I do a little spin during the rock bottom, during the delivery, and it's
Mhm.
like spin 180 to my left, which is, looks kind of cooler, I guess. And the second one is just the setup is for like pump handle slam, but
Okay.
finish is as a rock bottom,
Right.
and
Right.
that's called M drive.
Okay. You said that your first match was lucha libre style promotion. Is
Yeah.
your wrestling style lucha libre style?
Not really, but I can do some kind of, flippy doopy tricks, I got pretty good base for the lucha guys. I'm not gonna lie. I can do a little something. It's
Yeah.
good to know that stuff always, because you never know who you're gonna wrestle, so you have to be, I think, able to, be and know all those tricks, even
Hmm.
though if you're never gonna use them, just oh, so hey, yeah, I can base for the guy. I can do this. I can, more expose my, or I can expose you and put you over this way, that way. So I think you have to be able to do almost everything, but you don't have to use it in your
Right.
in your
Right.
performance, in your gimmick, right?
Yep. Yep. So after your first match, what promotion did you finally land on in the beginning of your career that you got a lot of your experience from?
Yeah, I got hooked up with Chicago style wrestling, which is, it was leading by Steve Boz and Jason Hades, and I
Hmm.
started with them, and I was working with them for about 2 years. Yeah, and that's kind of gave me the kind of first break on the indies, because of that I was able to go, let's say, and get booked in for CCW Coastal Championship Wrestling in Florida, then later in Nashville and all around, Chicago, Illinois area, in Indiana, Wisconsin, and all that. So yeah, that was my start with Chicago style wrestling. Really good promotion, and I learned a lot over there.
Yeah. Have you primarily been a babyface or a heel?
I think I was babyface at the beginning because, look at that face. It has to be babyface, right? And they had me transition to be a bad guy, but it just didn't work out well because I'm kind of, people might take me as an asshole because of my accent and the way I am sometimes, but I'm a really sweet guy, and I think it's just a misconception, and I know I might come out as an asshole sometimes to people, but I really don't. I'm not.
Right.
And yeah, that didn't work out, and they turned me baby back again, and basically I'm a huge baby face everywhere I go, and I think I'm gonna stick with that. But hey, if you want me to work as a heel, give me a
Give me a
call.
call. Have you come across any legends or anyone that has been at that next level that you've been able to wrestle against or talk to about your career?
Yeah, actually, the first people, like very famous or legends or wrestlers from, especially, from WWE from back in the day, we had at the Chicago Style Wrestling Show at CSW show. So I was able to meet, Tommy Dreamer,
Nice.
Rhino, uh, all these. I don't remember the names now. Like, I'm seriously don't remember more than Rhino
That's
and
fine.
Tommy Dreamer. But there was a Gangrel, let's say. But I knew Gangrel before because I was on the show with him in Florida. But it was just unbelievable. I remember because, to me it was a huge deal. But I was never marking out, hey, I'm a Mario.
Right.
Let me take a picture. I never took a picture with anybody. Actually, if you want to search my phone right now, I don't have any picture with any kind of guy, legend, or wrestler I've met. I was so excited about. I don't know why, and I blame myself for that because each time I was at the show with someone like Tommy Dreamer, let's say, I was texting my brother because he's, still back in Poland. Hey, I'm on the show with this guy, this guy, this guy. He was just, I can't believe it, man. I just can't. And I took him a picture. And I showed him the video from the show. He was just super excited about it.
Nice. Now, when I was reading your story, you spoke a lot about your wife. Tell me about her. How'd you meet her, and how long did you guys date before you ended up getting married to her?
Oh, that's actually funny. You're gonna get me cry, dude. You're gonna get me cry.
It's my job, man.
Yeah, that's actually true. Every time I do an interview, I'm basically mentioning my wife, and you. I didn't have to this time because you mentioned her for me, so thank you. I I'm listen. The thing is, we moved here together. We've been know each other
Wow.
for 8 years now. We've met back in Poland, and we were together for a year and a half, almost 2 years before we moved here together. And she is my partner in crime. So I think it was just, like I can't imagine not mention her of anything I do because she was the one who she always had my back, and it was only me and her until this day. Still in the United States, we don't have any family here, so it was just us. So she's just the best. So she's always here for me. Baby, I love you. So no, yeah, she's my anchor, she's my angel, and I wouldn't be able to do anything without her.
I feel you, man. That's how I am about my wife. Now is your wife a wrestling fan?
Uh Maybe she's not a wrestling fan, but I think she's going to be a wrestling historian because of the fact I telling her a lot, which I'm not supposed to sometimes. Every time we go to the show, and she just instead of just being a fan and enjoy the moment, enjoy the show, she goes, "Oh, this guy did this way. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, and she started picking up the things I'm not even able to pick up, and I'm like, can't you just watch the show and enjoy the moment, just having fun? And she goes, and she's just sitting and just watching. Oh, this guy did this. This guy did this. He's not supposed to be there. Oh, the timing was awkward. The footwork is blah 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 blah.
Right, right.
Which makes it so funny.
I get it, man. My wife's not a wrestling fan, but she comes to me to every event. She travels with me when I have to, travel for whatever reason with wrestling. It's hard to find a good woman that's going to support you the way that our wives have supported us. So bravo to her for doing that. Um, what is have you set a goal for yourself as far as you're giving yourself this many, these many years, that you need to either be in one of the two big promotions or you're going to go down another avenue with a career?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie, because of my visa status, my hands are kind of a little bit tight at the moment. So, and like I said, 2026 next year, it's gonna be different because think I'm gonna be able finally go back to Poland, and I'm
Right.
gonna be able to any other things. So I think it's gonna open up a lot of doors for me. And yeah, I'm not gonna say much about it yet because I
Mhm.
clearly don't know. But I think in 2026, I'm gonna do everything I can to be ready. I try to be always ready, but yeah, I think next year is gonna be a year where I there will be possibility for me to level up a little bit.
Now, have you sent any tapes or anything to WWE, AEW, or TNA, or another, level up wrestling promotion?
Um, I got a good connection with NWA. As,
Nice.
as of right now. I got I don't want to say good connection, but I know people in TNA.
Hmm.
I've been in the WWE as an extra last year. It was the day before CM Punk came back when
Oh, awesome.
it was a SmackDown in Chicago the day before. So they got me pick whether I want to work at SmackDown or I want to work for at
Raw.
War Games. War Games.
Morgan. Okay.
And I just clearly did the math, and I'm like, hey, if they're gonna use me, they're probably gonna use me at SmackDown, not at the War Games. Because at
Right.
War Games, everything is tight and everything. They got everything planned out. So I picked SmackDown. Unfortunately, they didn't have anything for us, but I've been there. I was again very fortunate to do the work like that, and I'm connected with few people over there. But again, it's still all because of my visa status.
Right. Right. So let me ask you this: if both WWE and AEW came to you and both handed you a contract at the same time,
Yeah,
which promotion would you choose and why?
none of that probably. No, no, it would be 1,000% WWE because WWE is the place I always wanted to go, work for, and I don't think it's gonna ever change. To work for WWE is the whole reason me being here and talking to you right now is to work for WWE. My goal was always to work for WWE and be professional wrestler for WWE. I can't imagine not working for WWE in my lifetime. So I'm gonna do everything I can, everything is possible, everything in my power to one day finally work for WWE because that was my lifetime goal. And the
Right.
other lifetime goal is to become US citizen,
Right.
which is
Hey
pretty
man, you
sweet.
gotta have more goals than one.
Yeah.
So, what are you still with you're the Chicago promotion right now, or do you just
Chicago Star Wrestling?
yeah?
No, not anymore. I We stopped working together, I guess, almost 2 years ago.
Okay,
Yeah,
where are you at
it's been a
now?
while. What is
Where are you
it?
at now? Where are you at
Uh,
now?
NWA Chicago,
Okay,
Midwest Wrestling Coalition, of course. It's not recently, but I got hooked up with them in December last year, and we're doing pretty well together, I guess. I was very fortunate actually, because it was one of these where the promoter Shane just reached out to me and just said, "Hey, listen, I saw you on NWA Chicago in Chicago, and I want to bring you in, and I want to, make you the top guy over there." And I was just wow, it was just, one of these things where, and at the time, I remember I just couldn't get booked. I struggled to get booked anywhere. And I'm like, dude, it must be something off because I'm doing everything right. I'm in the gym, 7 days a week. I look apart. I know I can work. I can do this, and that. And I struggle. And I remember I kind of took a break. I wasn't booked for like 2 or 3 months. And after that, just, out of nowhere, just MCW just came out of nowhere. And, the rest is history. So I was very fortunate, for Shane to reach out to me and just, working with them.
no, have you ever heard of SICW?
Yes, I did actually because of MWC, because I know the promoter. He's visiting MWC shows from time to time.
Yeah, you talking about Mr. Herb?
Yes,
Herb,
yeah,
yeah, Herb
I think
Simmons? Yeah,
Mr. Herb, yeah, is a promoter,
yeah,
right? Is that
yep,
correct?
yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep. Great guy, man.
Yeah,
Friend
so
of mine. Yeah, he's a great
we
guy. He's a
we've
friend of
met each
mine.
other briefly. I introduced myself to him. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
kind of know each other.
Yeah, I tell you what, if you ever have opportunity to, you know, go over there, even for just a match, man, I would absolutely go there. Again, he's a great guy. He's been in business 50 plus years. He is the who's who of professional wrestling on the indie scene. He really is. So tell me about your belts, man. I know you have two of them. Talk to me about them.
Well, the first, my actually, that's funny story because the Midwest Wrestling Coalition Championship title, this is my first title ever I won. So this one is special. Another title is even more special because this is the NWA Chicago Heavyweight Championship title. And this one is special because since NWA and Billy Corgan created the Back to the Territories, this is the first title ever created for Chicago. And I'm the first ever who holds it. And
Nice.
that's, I think, makes me a little bit more special. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I was very blessed and I was very fortunate because after those almost 5 years or 5 years, I think the hard work finally just started, paying off.
Do you have a dream match? A person that you absolutely want to step foot in the ring with and face? And don't see John Cena. It's too late for that. He's retiring.
You never know. You never know. Well, I'm not Joe Hendry though.
So
uh,
look,
Dream match,
I am
yeah.
not. I am not a Joe Hendry fan, so I'm glad you're not
Oh,
Joe
why
Hendry.
not? Let's talk about it. Why not?
I don't know. He's fine in the ring.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with him. Just not my cup of tea for whatever reason.
Okay, got it, got it, got it.
So,
Well, so I got to tell you real quick about Joe Hendry because Joe Hendry, before he was super, even popular in TNA,
mhm.
when he was in TNA and he was TV or media champion or whatever 2 or 3 years ago, he got booked in Poland when Poland started doing those,
Nice.
primetime wrestling, the promotion it's called, and they started doing those big ass shows for like 2, 3 thousand people. And I started watching them, and I'm like, holy shit, this is great! I can't wait to be back, so they can book me. And I remember I saw the guy named Joe Hendrick coming out with his entrance music. I believe in Joe Hendrick clapping. And I'm like, I remember, you can ask my wife. I called my wife and I'm like, baby, you have to see this shit. I was just like, what the hell is this? And I was making jokes about it. Like, I swear to God, I was an asshole. I was an asshole. 2 or 3 years later, you see Joe Hendry having a match with Randy Orton at WrestleMania. This is
Yeah,
just crazy. And I know Joe Hendry, we've met a couple of times when I was doing extra
nice.
work in TNA. He's
Right.
such a great guy, but who would ever thought, And this is one of these things where don't ever judge, book by the.
Right by the cover. Yeah.
There you go, yeah.
Look, Joe Hendry's very talented. I've heard by people who know him that he's very nice. And again,
He's very professional. He's very
yeah,
professional.
I can understand why fans love him. But for myself, for whatever reason, just not my cup of tea. I'm more
I
of a
get it.
heel guy. I love
Yeah,
heels. So I think he's too much of that good guy for
yeah.
myself. Maybe if I ever see him as a heel, I'll become a fan. But yeah, like I said, it's just not my cup of tea. But I'm not taking away at all how talented the man
Yeah.
is. He's extremely, extremely talented. But back to the question.
Back to the question. What was the question though?
The question was, oh, come on, man. You can't even remember my question. That hurts, though. If who's
Dream match.
your
Dream
dream
match, right?
opponent? Your dream
My
opponent.
that's not easy question though. Like my dream opponent, I would have to probably say The Rock, but I would be even more, in heaven when I would get the chance to be in the ring with The Rock or just do anything with The Rock or just play a tree when The Rock would be in the ring to anything. But like my really dream match when it comes to like wrestling match, man, I don't know. No, I can't answer that question because I honestly I
Fair
don't know.
enough.
And I'll be honest right now. I just don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Do you
I'm
keep up
sorry.
with? No, no. Fair enough, my friend. Do you keep up with today's product?
Yeah, absolutely. TNA, WWE, and NWA, especially, yes. A little less when it comes to AEW,
Mhm.
without any bigger reasons. It's just,
Not
you
your
know,
cup of tea. I get it. I get it. Just not your cup of tea, man. There's nothing
you
wrong with
said
that.
it. You said it, not me.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's your guy right now?
Who's my guy? Like my guy when it comes to what?
With wrestling, who's your guy, right? You said John Cena was your guy when you were
Uh,
younger. Who's that person right now?
well, the final boss is more like as a role model, but my guy as of right now, damn, my guy just passed away this past, Thursday passed.
Hogan?
So yeah, so
Yeah,
he was just, but
yeah.
that maybe later. John Cena. Who's my guy?
Yeah.
Do
Well,
I?
I tell you what, let's stop right there. You said, your guy just passed away Thursday, Hogan.
Yeah,
I'm 52 years old, so I grew up in that generation of Hogan, right?
yeah,
Um, you're in the business, so I know that also had to hurt, as well. The man paved the way for so many professional wrestlers. Professional wrestling wouldn't be what it is right now if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan.
absolutely.
Where were you at when you found out that Hogan passed away? And what was the first thing that went through your mind? What did you feel?
Thursday. I was probably. I don't remember if I was out or I was home, but the social media broke news to me. I was scrolling the social media and I saw the post, and it was literally like 4 minutes ago. One of the first, because I think it was maybe 2 or 3 posts when I was scrolling, so that was really fresh. It's right after that happened, and it was Fox News probably or some kind of wrestling website. I don't
Mhm.
remember, but the second I saw it, I couldn't believe it, man. Because the funny thing is, I never met the guy, but when my parents visited me for the first time since 5 years last year, I knew Hogan was promoting his beer downtown Chicago, one of the bars, right? So I took my parents, I took my wife, and we went to see Hogan. And my parents, they are in their 60s, so they knew Hulk Hogan only from the movies. They never even, they knew that he was a wrestler. He used to be a wrestler, but generally speaking, it was from the movies. He was the movie star, and we were watching the Hogan's movies when I was a little kid, growing up with my parents. And I took them, and we were literally standing two lines before Hogan to, get an autograph, to take a picture, whatever, to talk to the guy. And the second there was a 10 o'clock on the clock, he took off, the security took him, and we were like, oh my God, it was literally like two lines of people in front of us. But I was lucky enough to show them, the big man himself, and they saw him. So that's what mattered to me at the time. So I was very, very fortunate to, for my parents to see him. Because who would have thought, my mom and my dad going to see Hulk Hogan the first time they're going to visit me in the United States? It's just crazy idea.
Right.
But yeah, besides that, I was just super sad. And I think I broke down the very next day when I was hitting the gym. I was watching all of the interviews about, people talking about him and stuff. And I just broke down and I started crying. And I'm like, man, because it was no one like him.
Yeah.
Nobody like him.
Yeah, I think we all share.
And it was just suddenly happened, really suddenly. The world is just.
Do you have a favorite Hogan memory, a moment?
Hogan memory? Yeah, I think when I saw him, I remember I told my brother, hey, look at that big ass face of his, because he's just, gigantic, man. And, he's an older dude. And when I saw it, I'm like, holy shit, this is, because I'm in the business, it wasn't like, oh my God, this is Hogan. It was like, oh, Hogan, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And yeah, and the favorite memory, probably seeing my brother jumping up and down when he saw him and trying to record stuff. And also my mom, she was like, oh my God, how funny is it? This is, Hulk Hogan. And my dad, he played the tough guy, this is Hogan. But yeah, that was the favorite memory, that I was able to show them, hey, this is the guy we all watch on the TV all our lives. And 30 years later, you guys visited me. I'm doing pro wrestling. I'm living in the United States, and this is what I can show you. This is what I can give you. So that's probably my favorite thing to remember.
Do you have a favorite Hogan match?
Hogan match? Yeah, WrestleMania 17, 18.
Hogan.
Against The Rock, no doubt about it. That's the greatest wrestling match ever.
Awesome.
Ever.
Now let's get back to you for a moment. Was there a particular match that you remember thinking, man, I got it. Like, this is it. Everything just, fell into place for you. And from that point on, your matches just start to get better and better and better?
It's, to be quite honest with you, it happened quite recently. I would say like 2 months ago, maybe a couple of months ago. I had a match, and it was actually at MWC at Godfrey, Illinois. And, I was able to call the match in the ring, the whole match, by myself, because I was working with the guy who was in like maybe 2 or 3 years. I'm 5, so we still both green, but everything went perfect. And I was calling the shots. Hey, brother, do this, watch this. Everything was great. And we finished the match. And I remember Shane came up to me and he said, hey, man, that match was probably the best match you ever had at MCW. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah, man, that was really great. And when I sat down and when I thought about it, and I'm like, I think I got it in a way where I know I'm not going to kind of screw up in the match. You know what I'm saying? I know I got it. I know what's coming. I know what we talked about. I know we can flip a little bit during the match. I'm able to do it finally. So I don't want to say I got it, but I'm able to do all those things that I wasn't before. And I think that happened because Uh, this year I started practicing with Mustafa Ali because he opened up
Oh,
his
nice.
wrestling school in Chicago, actually 10 minutes away from my home. So
Wow.
uh,
That's
that
huge,
was so,
man.
that
Look
was
this
something
up.
like I can't miss that. 10 minutes
No,
away from
that's
my
look.
house.
That
Sign me
that's
up. So yeah,
yeah,
and we
Mustafa
start.
Ali, man, he's a damn good professional wrestler. He really is. So
He
congratulations for
is probably the greatest guy I've met yet when it comes to pro wrestling, and he's just like trained. He's like bullet in the ring.
yeah.
I always since I saw him for the first time practicing, I always look up to him, and I'm like, this is unbelievable how smooth and he everything, every step, everything he does is just on time, and it's right there. So I started practicing with Ali for like 3 months before I got injured. I partially tore my bicep at MWC Chicago, MWC show actually 3 or 4 months ago.
Mhm.
So I wasn't able to practice anymore. But yeah, like those 3 months, man, gave me so much like confidence, and I was, like I said, I was able to call the shots, in the real time, and not fucking up,
Right.
anymore, kind of in a way. So yeah, I proud a lot of that is because of training with Ali, definitely, no doubt about it.
That is awesome, man. I tell you what, man, and I'm always honest. I
Yeah.
don't I don't blow smoke on people's ass. So I'll be honest with you, my friend. I definitely think you have to look. I really do. And honestly, I watched a couple of your matches. Um, Pretty good in the ring. I would be shocked if I didn't see you on one of the top promotions one day. I really would. I personally think that possibly have what it takes. You're determined, and I mean, there's no easy feat going from Poland or any country to the United States with only $900 in your pocket in today's world, and be able to make it. So congratulations for all the accomplishments that you've been able to achieve. Your story is very inspirational. It really is, and I think it's a testament, that you can share to people that never say never. Just gotta keep moving forward on your dream, and you can make your dream happen. So I thank you for coming on this podcast. I really, really appreciate it. You're always welcome to come on. Have you ever heard of the Cauliflower Alley Club?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Have you ever heard of the Cauliflower Alley Club?
Nope.
So, talk about Mr. Herb Simmons. He's on the board. So, or yeah, I think he serves on the board, maybe higher up even. So, the Cauliflower Alley Club is a nonprofit organization that helps professional wrestlers who are in need. Say they were badly injured, or maybe they lost their home for whatever reason. Right? It's a nonprofit that helps professional wrestlers, and I'm a member as well. But next month in Las Vegas, we're having what's called the Cauliflower Reunion, where we're going to be honoring Mick Foley, um, Natalie Hart, um, and there is this event that they do is called On the Fly. On the Fly is basically you get in a ring with someone you never met, you never got to plan a match, and you have a match, and there's legends that's going to be there. And it's for people who want to be professional wrestlers who may want to get discovered. So I can send you the information if you want on that. I think you would do great if you're able to make it in Vegas for that event. It would really be able to you would be able to showcase your skills and who you are as a professional wrestler. So
Oh man, absolutely. Thank you for saying
yeah,
that, and I appreciate
yes,
that so much.
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
I would
absolutely.
love to, because definitely, I'm looking for opportunities left and right, and I will definitely never miss something
Yeah,
like that if I will be able to, to just go.
absolutely. I will see you the information. Before we go, a guy by the name of Doob Megboob, crazy name, says Polish people rule.
Because
So,
that's true. Woo!
but anyway,
No,
my
we
friend,
cool people. We good people. We very good
man,
people.
you seem like you're good people. Again, I appreciate you coming on. I really enjoyed our conversation. I'll get you that information for you. Guys, tonight about 7:30, it's going to be our Monday Night Raw recap. We do that every Tuesday. The Hall of Famer Bob Cook's going to be on, along with myself, Gerald. We're going to have JT Storm and George Strong. So don't forget to catch us at 7:30 for that. Please subscribe to my podcast. And until then, you guys have a great rest of your week, and hopefully we'll see you guys tonight. Mario, again, brother, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for saying all those beautiful stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you for